Traders, and welcome to Premarket Info. I'm Dennis Dick.
And I'm Joel Elconin.
We got an exciting show here today. Obviously, the big news last night. Apple disappoints, trading down significantly here in the pre-market, down 48 bucks. You've got Netflix. It's this tale of two stocks. They're up $39. 3M reports they come in line. Xerox beats by a penny, and Agrium here is increasing guidance. Let's start with Apple here, Joel, because obviously that's going to be your market mover here today. Everybody's looking at it. I don't know. It's just shocking that they can just keep punishing this stock.
Well, just for our listeners here real quick, we got three charts up here as well as a ticker. We got the daily chart over here on the left. That's almost irrelevant. We also have a 15-minute intraday chart. But the chart that we want to look at here is the intraday chart. When the news came up, we got a spike up to 527.97. Someone obviously liked the news. And then we sold off. They took this stock out to the shed like a redheaded stepchild. And they took it down just before it closed around 8 o'clock to 457.30. Since that 457.30 low, we've gotten a rebound up to 474. Now we're just sitting right in the middle. I guess you have to use that 457.30 as a parameter on the downside if you're looking to go long in this stock. Below that, I see a weekly low at 453.98. But a lot of times when you have these exaggerated moves in the pre-market, you never reach those levels during the regular session.
Yeah, this thing just got annihilated, obviously. It did get that initial spike, and what happened? You see the top line, 1381. They actually beat 1381 against estimates of 1344. You've got those news algos. They read just the earnings report, and they actually buy the stock, and it did spike up to that 527 level a few seconds after, before everybody starts really diving into the report and seeing that the revenue wasn't that great and the outlook wasn't that great, and then they start beating the stock up. Obviously, just getting killed down at 457. You know that's going to be a huge number here now. But you know what I find interesting here, Joel? It's the herd of the analysts. Here they are. They've all got ridiculous price targets on the stock, and now they've got to adjust all their price targets today. So you got like Jeffries coming up, downgrade the stock. Price target 500. Their price target was up at 800. They just lowered the price target 300 points. You've got Credit Suisse lowering their price target from 750 down to 600. Deutsche Bank from 850 down to 575. BMO from 640 down to 580. And here you go, Topeka. They had the highest price target on the stock as of last night. They had a price target on it of $1,111. They're lowering it to $888 today. That's a joke. It's a joke.
Yeah, well, you know what? I'm going to change my price target on this to 705.07, which was the all-time high. How about that?
You think it's going to go to 705.07? I'm not that bold.
No, I don't even. Jeez, I don't know. I mean, I think some people would be happy if it went to
500
505.
again.
Yeah, 500. A lot of people are going to stuck long in this stock, so the rallies are going to be muted. But just to close, that 457.30 is going to be a key level for Apple today.
Let's talk about Netflix. This is a tale of two stocks here. You got Netflix. They actually made 13 cents. So here it's funny. Netflix makes 13 cents, rallies 40 bucks. Apple makes $13, falls 49 bucks. So it's interesting. Valuation obviously almost meaningless on some of these things. Everything trades off sentiment now, and sentiment is good for Netflix. Obviously, Icon must be just excited over there since he started buying this thing down at 65. It is at $142 here this morning. So they did beat estimates. It does look good, but let's put it in all perspective here. They still only made 13 cents. Does that, and they were supposed to lose 13 cents, but should that stock be flying up 37% here this morning? This is what you call a classic short squeeze as well. People have been trying to short this thing. The float, there was a significant portion of the shares that were short, and you're starting to see like a capitulatory move here almost, where the stock is now washing out everyone. Everyone's giving up. The shorts are throwing in the towel here, and you've got other people coming in trying to get long.
Well, this is really an unusual move. I mean, when you see stocks go from under $300 to almost $50, I mean, they do form a base as we do here and come back up. But I can't remember the last time a dog like this has just come out and had such a huge move. But to analyze the pre-market activity, you do have a high at 146.08. We are trading a couple bucks below that, so I would use that as a major resistance point, or if you're trying to short the stock. I mean, you're getting into a whole vacuum area here.
Yeah,
You had a high in February of 2012 of 133.43, but then it was just, it was straight down when it cratered from under 250. So using that 146.08 as a parameter, there's probably some stock kicking around at 150, and some people are saying, oh my God, if Netflix ever gets back to 150, I'm out. And I think you'll have a lot of that. Looking if you're trying to buy this thing on the open, which I think would be a hard thing for me to do for sure. If this thing breaks below 139, I know that's only 3 points away, there's really not a lot of support in this issue.
It's air everywhere on this. I mean, we were at $100 here yesterday. Now we're at 142. So you can't tell me. There's just air everywhere on this. If you're trading it, you're almost gambling. It's very hard to obviously call this technically. Like you were saying, there's not a lot of reference points on the upside because we're getting into that huge vacuum area where the stock, fell through that 3 or 4 months in 2011 from 300 down to $100. So you're in that whole vacuum area. So it's hard to find reference points. It's hard to know where these shorts are going to start, to cover, if they're going to get squeezed out. There's so many participants, and this is trading all on sentiment now. People are like, oh, I got to own Netflix. This is going to, no, they're turning the whole company around. It's all just gets ridiculous. I think it ends ugly. I think if you look at Netflix a year from now, I think it's lower, but right now, who knows where it goes. It's got a lot of momentum. It's hard to step in front of that train. 3M reported earnings here too,
yeah,
Joel.
Can't exactly tell.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I just got a final note. I mean, I can't exactly tell people to go out and short this stock, but if you've been long this thing through 2012, this is a good opportunity to exit your long.
You've got also the analysts here. I missed that. You've got a bunch of them upgrading the stock, or at least raising their price targets. J.P. Morgan raising their price target, upgrading the stock, raising the price target to 180. Their price target was down at 88, so they were dead wrong, and now they're trying to make themselves look better. Raymond James raising their price target. Macquarie, Lazard, all upgrading the stock. The only one downgrading the stock today is Credit Suisse, and they're downgrading it on valuation. Isn't that the way you're supposed to do when the stock's rallying and it's going up? Then you downgrade it? Why are they always upgrading at the top and downgrading at the bottom? Some of these analysts, you wonder if they don't know what they're doing half the time. I mean, some of them get it right, but it seems like more of them get it wrong. So you got a lot of them jumping on the Netflix bandwagon and jumping off the Apple bandwagon. Almost makes me think the bottom might be in or getting close in Apple, and the top might be getting close in Netflix, just because these guys seem to be wrong more than they're right half the time. 3M reported earnings too, Joel, this morning. $1.41 against estimates of $1.41, so they came in line. You've got their estimates for their next for the full year is now going to be 675 to 695. Estimates were at 685, so I guess they're just guiding in line with what they were saying before. You got a huge level on this one. I'm going to tell you right now, $100, absolutely enormous institutional selling pressure there. I know we traded above it in the pre-market. I don't care. I don't see this thing opening up over $100. I think in the high 99s you're going to find high frequency resistance all over the place. If it takes out $100 in the regular session, then maybe you can start to get a little bit more bullish. But I think you're going to find some pretty decent resistance here in the upper 99s.
Yeah, looking at the dailies here, you've had multiple lows between 99.53 and 99.70. Probably the high freak stepping out ahead of the size that's there at 100. In the pre-market, you did get an initial spike up to 150. So if you look at this stock, it does get to the 100 level. That will be the next resistance point. And that's about it. That's as high as this stock has traded since 2007. So if you've been holding on that long, here's an opportunity to get out near an all-time high. Coming back on the downside, we're currently trading at the low of the pre-market session, which is 99.53. That coincides nicely with yesterday's lows that we had at 99.36, previous day at 99.39. So you got a pretty defined range here in Triple M, 99.40 to the even 100 level. Use those levels as parameters in today's session.
Xerox reported earnings here. They beat by a penny, 30 cents against estimates of 29 cents. Stock is trading up in the pre-market. It's trading at 786 right now. XRX 786 right now.
Woo!
You got X on there, Joel. It's XRX 786. So obviously stock trading up a little bit here. You start to get up into this $8 area, maybe you find a little resistance up there.
Yeah, we don't talk about these low price stocks much, but 785 has been the high in the pre-market. You're bumping up against all these monthly highs here at the $8 level. Trading up quite a bit for this low price stock. It's only 22,000 shares. Four tops, 759 to 761. So if you are shorting this thing off the hop, it comes back into the previous day's highs, may be a good place to cover.
Microsoft reports tonight. That stock is trading down just a penny right now here. Here's a stock, obviously. Maybe we can get a weekly chart on the left there just to show them that channel there, Joel. You can see right there, if you look just at the bottom of the channel we were talking before, 26.26 is where the bottom of the range is. And the upper end of the range, we're approaching that right now, has been 27.75. So that's been the channel. Obviously, I think that might be your channel today. Tonight, though, we'll have to see. Fundamentals can really move these stocks. It seems like last year's garbage is this year's treasure. And Microsoft wasn't great last year. It was kind of muted, didn't do a hell of a lot of anything. So it'll be interesting to see if they come out and the numbers are okay. I wouldn't be surprised they start buying this one.
Yeah, I mean, you couldn't get better defined resistance in this one. 2770 to 2777 is marked the highs here in the stock going back really since the last earnings report when they disappointed a little bit back in November. Muted activity in the pre-market, just bumping up at 2760. I mean, it's hard to buy this stock on a breakout because there's just so much size in there. It doesn't run like some of your higher price stocks. But the bogey on the upside for that breakout or a target for your longs is 2777. Also to note here in the stock, you do have a gap going up to 2821 that needs to be filled.
Starbucks 2 SBUX reports tonight as well. This should be an interesting report. It's a stock that's had a nice run up before the report. We bottomed obviously November down the $44 area. We're up $10 from there. So it's a stock that has had a nice run. I've never been a huge fan of Starbucks. Maybe it's because I don't like coffee. I never give the stock a lot of love, but there is a nice trend line there you could probably draw on the left. It's been actually moving up from November there, so maybe you got to respect that trend a little bit here, but we know technicals take a back seat when fundamentals are in play here.
Okay, looking at the Starbucks here, it's been running into a lot of problems here at 55. Hasn't really sneaked up there in the pre-market, so we'll use that as a resistance point. Like we said, this stock is really running into a lot of problems here ahead of earnings. Above 55, things open up.
Proctor Gamble reports tomorrow morning. Here's a stock. I've actually got a trading position on it too. Had a nice breakout through that 70 level that we had been talking about for the last 5 or 6 shows. Obviously, there was a big institutional seller at 70. They took him out. Stock lifted. There's another institutional seller at 71. So it looks like somebody's just dumping about 250,000 every point. So they're running into a little bit more problems here in the 71 area. Full disclosure, I do have a trading position on in Procter and Gamble. Close strong though. Can it make a run, take out that 71 today?
I tell you, I mean, there's going to be size kicking around there. I mean, there's really nothing in the book to show to go up to that level except the recent high at 70.99. That was supported by a 70.97 high back in December on the 11th and 12th. So, we could float up there. The market seems to be, a little bit soft, so it might struggle to do that. But that's going to be your targets on the upside. Looking at the pre-market, we haven't been able to get over yesterday's high, 70.70. So that would be your resistance point. On the downside, you had one small trade down to 70.36. So I would use that as support.
Remember, the high freaks will probably be leaning up there in the 70, 90s as we approach, if the stock price does approach up to that $71 area. So high frequency resistance all over the place in the 70, 90s. You want to talk about Exxon Mobile too. Exxon Mobile having some resistance form in this $91 area. Closed 90.70, closed fairly strong, but you can see the last 3 or 4 days, if you look there on the left, we have topped out just under 91. There is a little bit of institutional selling pressure at 91. So the high freaks are stepping in front of them at 90, 90, and 90.95 area.
Yep, that's been your high for the last 4 days between 90.83 and 90.94. So keep a high on that level. You see the big blow through here, 91 to 92. But I anticipate if it does get down through that 91 level, you'll still see some sellers, stacking up their offers between 91 and 92. In the pre-market, very few trades in Exxon Mobile.
Overall market thoughts here, because obviously this market is very resilient. We're only down 2 points. We've got Apple down over 45 points, and here's the market overall trading down only 2. Joel, what's your take here? Can we just get a chart up there too of the market?
Yes. Well,
Joel, I usually run the charts, and Joel's learning how to run the charts today, so you have to bear with him a little bit if he's slow, but he's been doing a pretty good job here today. Although he's got ES up there. There we go. The minis are up there.
Fast market here. Let's look at the dailies. You got a double top, 1491 and a quarter, 1491 and a half. Because of the Apple news, you haven't been able to reach that in the pre-market, so that's going to be your major resistance point. Looking at the downside here, we did sneak down to 1382.75, 1482.75. Really don't have a relevant level under that. Looking to slide into the 1470s if, in fact, we can take out that overnight low of 1482.75. But before we close the show here, I didn't have my questions button here illuminated. So we do have a few questions from our listeners, and I'll throw these out to you, and I'll try and add to it a little bit. And one of our traders, if you're looking to short Netflix today, what would be your strategy, and what would you use in term of management of that short position?
Man, you've got to have a reference point. So you'll have right now it's hard off the hop just to say. You can use your opening price if it starts to obviously take out the opening price, but you got to have a reference point here. Very, very hard to short this stock. You are shorting a rocket ship. This is a classic no-no in trading world. Is there going to be a top today? Probably. I mean, it's probably going to be reversed, but it could reverse at 150. Who knows? It's at 143 right now. I would have thought this stock would run into trouble in the 130s. Didn't it? Blew through that area. So very, very, very difficult. I'm personally sitting on my hands. I will not be shorting the stock today, even though I think there will be a top formed. I like to have a day or two where I have reference points to look at, and then I can get a better idea and I can control my risk. It's all about risk management, and very hard to control your risk on the short side when the stock's continuing to make new highs.
For me, I would just depend on your risk-reward ratio. 146.08 has been the high in the pre-market. See if it gets up there and test that level. If you want to make 10 points on it, use a 5-point stop, and perhaps the 150 level will be a point where you can stop yourself out. Also, on a day like this, if you're trying to short the stock, maybe do it when it's going down instead of when it's going up with a sell stop limit or something along those lines. Another question we had, the large short interest in Triple M here. Do you think you're going to get a lot of people headed for the exits on the good earnings?
I don't think so. I think if it starts to take out that $100, I think a lot of your shorts some are leaning on that whole $100. They love to lean on big numbers like that. There is institutional selling pressure up there. So I think $100 here on 3M is still a key number for that. That's my swing number. That's my bogey. If I'm playing this 3M from the short side, that's going to be the bogey that I'm going to look at.
Okay, and just to close the show, we had a trader asking about a stock here, MLNX. He's long the stock ahead of earnings.
Well, they had
just
earnings,
wanted to see. Yeah, yeah. Oh, they did have the earnings here, and oh boy,
Stocks
it got
getting
whacked. Huh?
Yeah, stock's getting rocked here this morning. Obviously down over $10. It's hard. It's taking out some key support levels there now, so it gets difficult, on something like this. It's always scary when you're holding stocks in earnings reports because things can happen, especially on volatile issues like Mellanax. So it's scary here. If you're long the thing, it's just a matter of trying to control the damage. Obviously, if you're long it before coming in. Obviously, the stock bottomed earlier at 35, if you can see on the pre-market chart there at the bottom, and has come back somewhat from there. I'd be nervous to start cutting through 40 again, though.
Okay, just looking at that just from a short-term perspective, if we can bust above 42 here in the
Some
pre-market, it
air.
looks like it's got a lot of ground to make up. Well, thank you for all the questions and for you people being in our seminar for the first time here. And any comments or suggestions are appreciated. Have a good trading day.